Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 10, Chapter 10, Beside, Behind, Before, Part 1 of 3. Man is subject to sorrow from birth to death. Joy, or what he calls happiness, is an interval between two sorrows, that is all. These sorrows arise as a result of three reasons: Adhyatmik, spiritual; Adidhaivika, deific; and Adibhautika, material. The material objects that one craves for, endeavors to acquire and laments when lost, are all bhautik. And so, the sorrows that sprout out of them are defined as adibhautika. The senses are the instruments of cognition. One sees an object through the eyes, yes, but not through the material eye, but with the eye operated by the deity that presides over it, namely the sun. You do not see in the dark. The sun helps you to see. Without him, you are helpless. Each sense and limb, nerve and cell, joint and gland of the human body has a deity that activates it and is resident therein, if these deities are hostile or displeased. The body suffers and sorrow ensues. This is the second reason for misery, the Adidhaivika. Then we have the self, the witness of both inertia and activity, joy and sorrow, exaltation and examination. When you ignore the existence of the witness, when you divorce your daily life, away from the awareness of that seat of peace, you invite sorrow to torment you. That is the Adhyatmik, or the spiritual quality, the cross that each man carries along the trail of life. Three paths to gain awareness of divine. It can be said that these three are the basic reason for man's appearance and reappearance on earth. To unlearn the delusion and learn the lesson of wisdom, when any mantra is concluded, the reciter usually repeats, as you must have noticed, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, three Shantis. Why three? Why Om? Om is the designation of the universal Brahman. Constant repetition of the Om and intense meditation on its meaning are recommended for aspirants who seek cognition of the indwelling divine. Shanti means peace, and peace is invoked thrice in order to allay the three sources of sorrow mentioned already. Operating through the individual organism, the deities, and the cosmic intelligence. There are three paths laid down for the awareness of the immanence of the divine: karma, bhakti, and jnana. These three are not distinct and diverse, they are composite and complementary. For example, you have the knowledge that Sai is everywhere, seeing all things and knowing every activity of yours. You are devoted to Sai and you are eager to be directed and follow the directions to the best of your ability. And you desire to utilize the skill and efficiency you have earned for the service of others, because you feel that they are kinsmen of the Sai family, whether they know it or not. It is really very satisfying that you are rendering seva to the people in various parts of this city, encouraging them along the 9 directions to deepen their faith in God. Bhajans, study circles, the staging of plays, the singing of kirtans in chorus by groups of devotees along the streets in the early morning hours. These are all commendable activities. Also, the helpful activities of the Sevadal. I find that a great deal of time is devoted to the cultivation of talents among fruitful channels of children in Balvikas. This is sure to kindle the flame of spiritual yearning in them and beautify their lives with the charm of joy later on. Man binds and shackles himself to sorrow. An enormous quantity of precious time is being frittered away now by man in wasteful, even damaging tasks. The effort that is undertaken for these tasks leads nowhere. They only deepen despair or darken the gloom already filling the heart. People find time to queue up for hours before cinema bookings or waiting for a bus to take them there. They have no time to spare for attending a bhajan session or to join a Naga Sankirtan group. They have time to play cards and sit at the club table, chatting on trivialities for hours together. This is because people live only on the surface or bottom of things. They are either froth or dregs. They shirk responsibilities. They do not introspect or think calmly of the end for which they are struggling frantically and flippantly. Examine this question, for example. Is man enslaved by external objects and the attraction they exercise over him, or is it some inner impulse that urges him forward or shackle himself to sorrow? I shall give an example. There are professional monkey catchers in the village who employ a crude device for the purpose. They place in the orchards or gardens infested by the marauders a number of narrow-necked earthen pots with a handful of peanuts inside each. The monkey approaches the pot, knows that it has the delicious nuts inside, puts its long hand in and collects the nuts in a fist. Now it finds it cannot take its arm out. The neck is too narrow for the nutful fist. So it sits helpless and forlorn, and is easily caught and transported. It thinks that there is someone inside who is holding back its arm when it tries to take it out. If only it had loosened the grip and got rid of the attachment to the nuts, it could have escaped. So too, you are the victims of desire and attachments that the desire entails. You are bound by the shackles you yourselves fastened around you. Liberation too is in your hands. Contemplate the unchanging glory of God. Then the desire for the transient baubles of the earth will fade and you can be free. Faith in God has to be stable and strong. Ask anyone the question, how do you provide for yourself in your old age? The answer will be, oh, my son is well placed. I get the interest on my deposits. I have a pension. I have lands from which I can draw what I need, etc. But no one answers, I rely on God. Without faith in God, without divine help, how can any of these give succor during the stormy voyage through life's declining years? Faith in God is the secure foundation on which hope has to be built. The faith has to be stable and strong. The feeling that God will come to our rescue has to be vivid and vital, motivating and activating all that we do or speak or think. Service rendered to others in this spirit will be a great source of joy to you as well as to the recipient. First, you must engage yourself in karma jijnasa, the discriminating selection of activity. Then you have to enter the region of dharma jijnasa, the search for the eternal laws of the spirit that mold and shape the waves of consciousness. Last, you penetrate into the problems of liberation through Brahma Jijnasa, the sadhana that convinces you of the reality of the One and the unreality of the multiplicity, the apparent world based on the real Brahman. End of Part 1 of 3, Dharmakshetra, Bombay, May 21st, 1970.